Hello Internet Land, just a quick one. Someone asked about my guitar amplifier, how it sounded. You know who you are. So it's going to be just a quick one, just run through it, and the modification I made and why, because someone else asked about that. Guitarists, always asking awkward questions. So what I did is swap out the mains transformer so it run on normal UK mains, because this was originally for the US market to run on 110 volts. Plug 110 volts into 240 volts into this, it'll go pop, or it would have done. Now it doesn't. This is a mains transformer. I don't know, kilo or so of heavy lump. The one which I put in is slightly bigger because it's dealing with 240 volts, not 110. And the reason why I've done this is because when running with this one, when I was taking it to any practices or gigs or whatever, not to do that many gigs as a guitarist, but it does happen occasionally, I'd also have to look along this, which is a step-down transformer, to step down our 240 volts to 110, so this wouldn't get fried. So that's why I did it. A brief go over the front panel of this little Messa. It's not the simplest of amps. It's basically a 3-channel amp. We have clean, crunch, and distortion. We've got 2 output controls. We've got output and solo, so you can have your solo setting to start a little bit high. So when you go for the big screamy solo, it gets louder than the other noisy guitarist in the band, hopefully. There's also a reverb controls which are on the back, and also lots of other bits. It's got built-in spring reverb, none of that Nancy horrible digital effects, which are actually quite good these days. But none of that, just a great big spring reverb. It's nice and compact, does about 45 watts. Loads of valves inside. Won't go into the valve details. If you want to know about the valves, I'll answer your questions. But how does it sound? So we'll drag out my trusty Charvel, stick it on the back pickup. It's on clean, and you go. See, it's quite nice. Got a nice. It's really quite a nice sound. This is going for a little 1x12 cab. It's a nice little compact amp for a nice little compact cab. This would do me for most gigs. I've got another 1x12 if I need it, which I have been known to use when I was with Hell's Eye. But no, it's just clean. It's really good. But a little switch there, and that, when I'm going to turn the master volume down for that channel a bit, hit the switch, and it just drives it a little bit more. Let's turn that back again. Now, it does have a lovely foot switch, so you can change all these things here. So we just go to the crunch channel. Channel 2 as it's called. Again, this also has an interesting switch. Goes between vintage and modern. This is the vintage one. Put it onto the humbucker at the back. Yeah. I'm not doing anything particularly fancy with the controls, and there's nothing between the guitar and amp. This is just a guitar. Isn't that great? Again, I'm going to knock that down a bit. Oh no, it scares your awareness. Put it into modern mode. Bit more high-end bite to it. Nothing major, just that little subtle difference in tone. And now, let's start playing with the big boy channel. So, this is channel 3. This is where it gets really interesting. Check it's in vintage mode. Lots of gain. And that's only about halfway on the input gain. So I'm just going to drop the master down a bit. Switch this magic switch. Hear a bit more hum coming from that thing. But even when it's in this kind of ultra high gain setting, back off the tone a bit, the volume a bit. Basically, it's just a really versatile amp. It gives you everything you need almost, from lovely cleans through to ridiculous amounts of gain. And if you're lucky, and I think I was, you can pick them up relatively cheap for an amp which will do so many gig variations. It's got loads of headroom, it's got a good clean channel, it's got all the other tones you really need in it. Does it sound good clean as a good Fender? No. Does it sound like a vintage Marshall on full tilt? Not exactly, no. It's not far off. It does that Marshall thing very well, but the history of Messas is from hot rodding Marshalls. That's where the company started, and that's where it went on. At some point, I will do an A/B test, but I'll need to get this all set up between this, which is a very versatile amplifier, and this, which is essentially in many ways the pedal which is trying to emulate what this, the design ethos which this came from. So this is the Revival Drive Hot Rod edition, which is basically trying to get all those hot rodded vintage tones from the 70s and the 80s to a certain extent, and it does it very well. But I'll need to really find a good way of doing an A/B between this and that to see what kind of difference there is. I suspect it's going to be really close, but this is still going to be getting a lot more use out of me in the near future because it's this big and fits just under my mixing desk, whereas that is that big and I have to plug it into a cab and then put a microphone in front of it. This I can plug directly into a cab emulator, which also sits under my mixing desk. So for recording purposes, this is superb. But for live purposes, I wouldn't lug this out as well as that when I've got that at the moment. But you never know, I might change my mind and go all virtual guitar ampless. Anyway, thank you very much.